Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about my minimal eyeshadow palette collection. I'm about to show them all to you. There really isn't many at all. I'm not comparing myself to, my friends who don't really do makeup or like makeup like that, who probably only have like one palette or if any palette they maybe have like a couple shadows or something. It's a relative thing. Like when I say minimal, I'm talking about YouTube people who love makeup and they have like the IKEA drawers just like filled with all these palettes. Like that's not me. So you'll see. So I'm gonna show you what I have, what I currently own, and what I use and how I kind of got there. This is what I keep them in. This is actually like a little container I got from like an office type of store, like a Staples or Office Max. It's actually for like papers and stuff and filing, those types of things. But I use it for eyeshadow palettes, so it really came in really handy. I keep it right on my dresser. I like giving a little bit of a backstory. So I'm not really a big consumer of makeup these days. I haven't really been. It's been a while since I bought makeup in a heavier type of way. I used to work at a drugstore like right after college, like between careers and jobs and all that stuff, like figuring my life out. So I had a lot of access to makeup and like I was around it all the time and living at home. And I feel like that's just what you did when you are in that stage of life. You have that more disposable income, I guess, and you just, minimalism wasn't a thing back then. It was just like, I like makeup and I bought makeup. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. But back then, palettes weren't really that big. Their moment kind of happened maybe like 5 years ago, and then after that it was just like an explosion, and then you just have palettes coming out like all the time. So I missed that train. Like when I was really into makeup and buying it more heavily, it was the single shadows that really were the bigger deal, like all the MAC shadows and the Urban Decay ones, or like the quads were really big, of different brands. So that's really where more the focus was, as opposed to like palettes. So that's why I don't really have as many palettes. Where I started buying them, I was definitely a lot more aware of what I wanted. I was more specific about it. Like over, all those years, I just kind of know what I didn't use and what colors I would actually use. And I kind of geared all the palettes that I got towards that, what I would use more frequently, most frequently, and wouldn't just sit in a pile and not get used. So I think that just, again, came with time and like knowing my makeup style and like my everyday life. Right, so I've been on this decluttering journey with a lot of my things, and makeup definitely has been an area, I should say, where I definitely have been trying to either downsize, and if I do buy it, it's a very slow kind of way of bringing stuff in, because here's the thing, I had a lot at one point. I had so much makeup that I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at like what I used to do. I don't have like regrets that I bought makeup, because that was my 20s. That was like what I did. I love makeup. I don't regret it. I think it taught me a lot about it, like how I used it and what I liked and what I maybe didn't like. And I'm happy with how I lived my 20s. Like there's no regrets there. But I'm at that kind of point now where like I know now what I really like and what I use, and I don't ever want to have that much makeup ever again. So that's kind of how this palette collection, how it stayed so small, and why I haven't been like going crazy buying all these palettes. I'm not against buying any more in the future. This is just explaining how and why it is the way it is. My eyeshadow singles, on the other hand, we'll talk about that another day. That is not minimal yet. We're still like trying to bring that down. Yeah, but anyway, let's just get into it because I can talk forever. Let's go with the Too Faced. Now, a lot of these are, they're kind of the basic palettes, I want to call them, but I love this one. This was the Too Faced Chocolate Bar. I got this way after it was actually released. I kind of wait a lot on things these days. If things are new releases, I'm a lot less likely to get them because I want to hear more about them and see how they fit into my life. But these are all browns, as you can imagine. You probably already are familiar with this guy. I love it. It smells good. The packaging's really cute. I've realized that packaging to me is more important than I originally thought. Before it was like, oh, I only care about what's on the inside and that's what matters. And it does. That's the most important part, but this can really enhance the experience of using a product, and it's sturdy and like protects everything inside really well. Like it makes it that more enjoyable to use. But I got this mainly because of all of the browns, because it's a wearable color. It's a neutral palette. There's like a purple in here, a pink. I think on Instagram or somewhere, and like people were using this palette a lot at one point, and I was really liking the looks they were coming up with because of all the different finishes. Like it's really pretty well pigmented. I like that there's like mattes in here and like different types of shimmers, and lots of transition shades, and you can really do a lot with this. And I like how it's not just straight up brown. Like there's like this color down here, it's called Cherry Cordial, so it's like a little bit of like a purpley kind of color, purpley brown. Then you have this one right here, so you can create like lots of looks with this. It's very practical, so I really like it, and it smells good. And like, come on, like look at like how it's cute. I mean, this thing has been around for a while, so if you're looking for like a brown neutral palette like that has a lot of different finishes, like this is a really good one that you'll actually use. You can use it like casually, you can use it for more dressy stuff. Love it. Tarte in Bloom palette, another one that has been around for a bit. They still sell it. I think they still sell the Too Faced one too, but here's the Tarte in Bloom palette. I love this. And yeah, these are the colors. You can see here, you have these darker shades, which are nice. I like that it's not just like a black kind of dark. It's like smoky colors, like dark gray, and then you have like these finishes. I really love these matte shades right here. They're very pretty and wearable for every day. This is like a little bit of, a little bit of shimmer here. This one on top is a matte and a matte, but really I love that you can wear these on a regular basis, because that's my life right now. I'm like not going to like, you know, really fancy things, but again, with these palettes, you can still create really fancy looks if you want to, and use them, because there is a variety there. Dark shades, medium shades, shimmers, like that's really all you technically need if you're not trying to be like super experimental. If you're not trying to be like super colorful and all that, this is a really good one. I love it. The Modern Renaissance, guys. I feel like everybody knows about this one because it's been out forever and it's a classic. It's beautiful. Like there's been a million dupes of said palette, but right, I'm actually wearing this on my eyes today, if you can see. I was really drawn to this palette because it's unlike a lot of colors that I have, especially like this side right here. I like that there's like a more, you know, brownie type of, almost like a tan end here, and then they had like these really pretty like pink colors, which I at first I was like, oh god, pink. I'm not sure about that, because pink eyeshadow, these are darker pinks. First of all, like they can look pretty, I don't know, make you look a little sick if you're not wearing them the right way, depending on your skin tone and all that. But these actually look really good. Like I'm wearing it right now. Like I don't feel like I look like a sick person, but I like them. I was really drawn to this orange shade. I have like me and this thing with orange. I don't know what, but like my nails. I love orange. I was really drawn to this shade in particular, but I just thought this palette was really unique. It really was for, you know, at that time, like this was, I think, the only palette like it. That's why it was so popular, but it, you know, pigmentation's really good, and I really enjoy using it. I don't use it that much like every single day or anything, because I don't know, the vibe of this palette, I feel like Anastasia, her palettes, now I know this sounds really weird, but they kind of almost have like a formal, like the packaging, like, I don't know. I just feel like I only want to pull it out for like special occasions, but I've been trying to use it more like on normal days, because the colors are just so stunning. Like they're so like, I don't know, they're really pretty. The pigment's really good. It's like you can build it up if you want to, and yeah, it's pigmented. And the thing is, there's a lot of the kickback situation where you like dip your brush in and there's like powder flying out, but I think that's just the nature of the palette. I think that was a bigger deal with one of their later palettes that they put out. Like people were like really going crazy about it. I think it's just the nature of the palette. Like they're pigments. Like I think I'm not like, there's a lot of kickback, but it's not like in a bad way. I guess I'm okay with that. So really good one. Okay, so last summer, I really wanted a palette that had brighter colors in it, that was, you know, I had singles, but I kind of wanted something that was in one comprehensive palette. So that's where this guy came in. I really couldn't find one that was at a price point that I felt comfortable with spending and that was like relatively decent. So I got this one from Ulta. It's a BH Cosmetics palette. It's called Take Me Back to Brazil. This one's about 18 bucks. Of course, there's always sales and promos and whatever, so you can get it cheaper, but this is the palette that I ended up going with. And it has all these colors in it. You know, your pinks, you can see it all, the purples, blues, greens, etc. We have like 2 highlighter shades down here in the bottom and a black shade. My feelings on this palette, again, I'm not somebody who wears these types of colors normally, so for me, it wasn't like the end of the world that if they're not like the most pigmented, because at the time, like I said, when I was looking for something, I didn't want to spend like a fortune, because again, I'm not going to be using this a ton. So I think for what it is, it's okay. It's not like the best. Like I think some shades are a lot better than others in here. I'm not going to do like a full swatch situation right now, but like again, like you get what you pay for, but it's also not too bad for what you're trying to do if you're not like wearing these kinds of colors on the regular, you know what I mean? So it's not too bad. The only thing I wish it had was a brown transition shade. Would be cool, just because I find that when I wear colors like this, I tend to like something neutral to kind of blend it out with or whatever. So that's the only thing that is in here, but it's not a big deal because I have like browns and other palettes and stuff, but that would have been nice. And you know what's crazy? Like right after I bought this, maybe a month or two later, like James Charles comes out with his Morphe palette with all the bright colors in it. But I will say I'm kind of glad because that I ended up getting this, because the James Charles one was like 40 bucks. Which is fine. I don't really care that it was $40 because I would spend $40, but I don't use these colors a lot. It would have been cool to have had that option, but I think at the end of the day, I probably still would have just gotten this. But the James Charles palette, I mean, I don't know, you know, James Charles with like all the drama aside and all that stuff, but the palette's like huge. It's like, I don't know, like the size of my laptop. Like it was like ginormous when I saw it in person. I was like, I don't think I need that in my life because first of all, again, like I said, I don't wear fluorescents like that, but Lord. But it's cool to play with as an option. Like if you are like me, you don't really do this type of thing every single day, but you want to like play with color a little bit sometimes, like this probably is the better bet if you're talking like, you know, how much money you want to put down and all that and how much use you're actually going to get from it. Again, James Charles palette is probably like a million times more pigmented and like way better than this, but again, I'm not really like here to be wearing fluorescents all the time. So it kind of worked out for me personally. So moving on with my life, our life, your life. This is my budget-friendly elf palette. Sorry for all the dirt and stuff, and not dirt, the you know how makeup goes, guys. This is their Mad for Matte palette. It is the brown situation, and I really like this palette if you're not trying to look like you're wearing makeup, you just have to have something on. Like this is the palette that I usually go to. I use this side more than this side. This I use as a transition shade for a lot of things, like the Brazilian palettes, and this side is more of like a cool tone type of story. I would totally use it. I do use it here and there. I don't know. I just, for some reason, I don't use these two as much, but I can, you know? I don't know why I don't. But this retails 10 bucks, but again, you know how these websites are. They have all the sales going and what have you. So I got it for like 5 bucks, like on a Black Friday sale a couple of years ago. I really like it. It's not bad. There's nothing to like talk about it being bad or awesome. It's just a staple palette, but it's just a palette I use often. I don't like love it, I don't hate it. It's useful. I mean, there's nothing, the pigmentation's okay. It's not horrible, I don't think. It's like pretty like, well, I don't even know if that shows anything because it's like matching my skin, my finger there, but it's okay, you know, so I really don't have much more to say about it, but it's not bad if you're looking for like a cheap one. I was looking at the Kat Von D like Shade and Light palette. Again, I'm like, do I really want to pay that much for a matte shadow? I don't know. Again, it's really up to your preference. I wasn't looking to be spending a fortune on a matte palette at that point, so this one kind of did the job. Again, I'm not against spending that much for any palette if it's something I'm going to use, but this is a Too Faced collection. It's called The Best Year Ever, I believe, from 2017 going into 2018. So it was like a winter release, like a New Year's kind of thing, and I actually got this as a present from my sister-in-law. And I've really been enjoying this set here. So it comes in this cute little case, and it has 3 palettes in it. I enjoy these for traveling, actually. I mean, you can use them anytime, but for traveling especially, they're very handy because each one has different shadow themes. So this one's called I Believe in Pink. And as you can imagine, it's like all pink, and it has a blush, which is cool in case you don't feel like thinking about what kind of blush to bring. It has one in there already. The other palette is the Natural Beauty palette, and this one has browns and a bronzer. So you can see like there's different types of browns and like a neutral-ish type. Was that neutral? Yeah, a neutral type of, for me, I guess you could, I don't know if you can catch it in the sunlight. Yeah, it has like a kind of neutral transition shade if you want, and like these types of colors. I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't even think they sell it anymore, but just to give you something to look at. And the Super Fun Night palette I really like a lot too for like more dramatic looks, and it has a highlighter in the bottom. So if you're like trying to pack makeup and you don't feel like thinking about shadows, just like all these will cover you. The pigment's pretty good. I mean, again, for my uses, I don't have a problem with the pigmentation. I know some people get really weird about like how pigmented they are. I think these are pigmented enough for me. So I really enjoyed using these. Again, they don't really sell this, I don't think, anymore, unless you can probably find it online somewhere. I'm sure somewhere online sells it, but it's come in handy. So don't, you know, disregard palettes like this that have, you know, multiple things going on. I mean, I know like sometimes with holiday sets, the quality, you don't really know if you're going to get the best quality because, you know, they're putting out these like quick bulk like products, and you know, I know there's been a history with like certain ones not being as good, and you know, that does happen, but this one I haven't had a problem with, so I guess it just depends. All right, other ones, I think we're coming down to it. I've had this one for a while. This is what, like older, but they don't make this at all, but it's like a Too Faced one I got as a gift as well. I mainly use it for these two right here. These three on the top I actually think are in the chocolate bar palette. So again, I got this as a gift, but I really like the Too Faced bronzer, and I think that's the chocolate Soleil bronzer that they have in here, and the Snow Bunny one. They don't make this, of course, it's old, but just to show you what I got. But 5 palettes, guys, that I have, 2 that I got as a gift. So again, pretty minimal, right? But I know that I'm going to use them, and they have been getting a lot of use, and they've been rotated pretty well. So I'm pretty happy with my decision right now. Other palettes that I always have had my eye on were like Morphe ones. Huda looks like interesting to me. There's a lot of different palettes out there that catch my eye, but again, like with my singles and these already, I've been pretty good. So definitely keeping things mindful. So let me know in the comments down below. Do you own any of these palettes? What are your thoughts on them? And what palettes are you looking to get in the future? What are your thoughts on palettes? And what would you consider like your happy number with palettes? Just share down below. Again, like I said, I have about 5. Again, yeah, let me know down below your thoughts on any of these, or you know, what you have out of these, what your experiences were with them, how many do you like to have. Yeah, I think it's fun to do these videos just to kind of share. You know, I am a beauty person. I like talking about makeup stuff, so definitely share down below. Have a great day, guys. I hope your summer's going well, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.